Put it in, and then talk about who took it afterwards. There was another stupid one from who just sounds like a really bitter Manchester United fan. Welcome back to another week of TFW. We have so much coming up, but all of you guys have left your opinions in our community post. Let's jump straight into it. We've got a rather interesting one on Cristiano Ronaldo because Lucky Singh, on one hand, has said CR7 steals the goal of his teammate for Portugal, whereas RK is saying, did Ronaldo steal Jota's goal, like a lot of internet babies are saying. Wow, harsh move. Personally, no, the defender was right behind him and could have cleared it. CR7 had to poke it in to be sure. Exactly. People are so ready to jump on Ronaldo's back just because it's him. Literally, if this was like a defender or someone else, no one would care. The ball was on the goal line. It may have bounced in looking at the replay. The defender was behind him. He wasn't to know. Just stick the ball in the goddamn net. Nobody cares who scored. Like, I'm sure that Jota really didn't care that Cristiano Ronaldo poked it in. Like, the ball's there to be put into the back of the net. I'd much rather that than save face. Can you imagine how many people would go nuts if he, like, didn't do anything and the defender cleared it? It would be obscene. Just stick the ball in the back of the net. He didn't steal the goal. The ball is there bouncing on the line, so put it in. And then talk about who took it afterwards. That's, yeah, to say he stole it is just people who obviously hate Ronaldo and wanted to make him look bad. And not even that, just to hate anybody. There was no way on earth that he's stealing a goal there. But it was his 99th international goal. So, you know, he's heading towards the right direction if he wants to overtake the men's record. Sticking with international football though, username McTaken. These names are getting better every single week. No one seems to like international football, players nor fans. Should it be cancelled and just play these games at another time when it doesn't stop the leagues? I'm not sure it could be completely played at another time because then you'd only have summer when the actual tournaments are being played. I do agree though that they could reduce the number of international breaks. Like, why don't they just have 3, maybe 4 weeks at one period where they play the international breaks and then you wouldn't have one. Like in the Premier League, you've got, I mean, in Europe, September, October and November. 3 international breaks. Why don't you just have them in one? And then the league can run and just make it far more interesting. I agree with you. The fact that no one seems to like it though actually goes in well with our second comment from Nick's Trio, who said South American international football is far more interesting than European. Agree or not? I agree. The only reason people don't seem to like international football is because unfortunately when the majority of the bigger players from the bigger teams and the bigger leagues in Europe go to international football, they're then not playing, with due respect, the greatest of opponents. Like, if you're used to watching, you know, let's take Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. You're used to watching Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best players in Europe, at Juventus, one of the best clubs, in Serie A, one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. Then you go to watch him play, you know, at Lithuania and somebody else. Again, no disrespect, but that's obviously, in comparison, doesn't look as exciting or as challenging to regular football. But in South America, it's amazing. There's like 10 teams in just one qualifying section. They play each other super regularly. There's amazing rivalries because they play each other so regularly. And there's some really good teams. They all develop. There's not such a massive gap from the really, really poor teams. Gibraltar, San Marino, Liechtenstein, Andorra, Luxembourg, to the absolute giants like Germany, Netherlands, England, Italy, you know, Spain, so on and so forth. So I think South American football is actually really, really interesting. Even if it's a friendly like the Super Classico on Friday night, that's really interesting. So maybe international football just isn't so good for the big players who play in the bigger teams, especially in European football. I'm sure for the guys who would play at small teams, small clubs, maybe you don't even play professional football, but then the international rolls around and they get a chance to play against some of the biggest superstars in the world. I bet they love it. I bet it's brilliant. So yeah, it's very much just an opinion. On to some predictions though, because Jamie Rose asking, what are our predictions? Rangers 535 is asking why the Netherlands are such big favourites. The Netherlands are favourites because they've got an unbelievable team. We spoke about it before. I still think they could use an out-and-out goal scorer. When you've got probably the best defender in the world in Virgil van Dijk, when you've got other incredible midfielders like Gini Wijnaldum and Frankie de Jong, and then moving forward to Memphis Depay and even others in the squad, there's no reason why they wouldn't be favourites. Like, look at the impact that Van Dijk had at Liverpool to take them to favourites in pretty much every single competition they play. The same thing is pretty much going to happen in the Dutch side, and the Netherlands do have an unbelievable squad. As for the rest of the predictions, I think even after a poor World Cup, Germany are still going to be up there. Spain looking to play some good football. I'm not sure they're going to be favourites. The favourites for me, and if it works out this way, obviously the draw, you know, it's depending on the draw coming up at the end of the month. Germany, Netherlands, it's a tough one. Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, and England. That's what I'm going for. There are other big ones out there and you can debate all the time. Oh my God, actually, forgot about France. Sorry. I'm going to leave out. Oh, now it's too difficult. Now it's too difficult. Yeah, actually, what am I talking about? I thought France were going to win it. France, Netherlands, Germany, and either England or Belgium. One of the two. God, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Anyway, moving on to Italian youth football, because Patrick Castrejon has brought up the fact that there was a coach in Italy who was sacked for winning 27-0 with his youth side. It's so difficult to know without the actual context of this game. Were the other team just absolutely terrible? If they were, yes, the coach could have told his players to ease off, could have said, you know, in terms of youth development, could have set them different targets, could have set them different restrictions, could have helped advance their game on a personal and a technical and a tactical level within a game-like situation. And, you know, and this is maybe going a little bit too deep into it, like, can everyone get a touch of the ball? You know, can we only score when the defenders have played with the ball? Can you know, keep it to 2 touch? Can you restrict your team to try and make it a bit harder? If he's sending out, like, you know, saying the other team's rubbish, we want blood, we want to make the other team feel as bad as possible, hammer them with all that you can. I mean, it's just not really within the sporting sort of gestures. On the flip side, though, it is a football match, and if you go out there and, you know, every attack you go to score, because that's the point of football, if you keep scoring, there's got to be impetus on the other team to not be better within that moment, but if they aren't that good, that's football. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. But I can see how it would be incredibly demoralising, and maybe the coach should have taken another angle on it. To sack him, oh, that's a bit harsh. Anyway, on to Ozil now, because Aritra Mandal. What do you think the classic CAM players like Ozil and Isco are no longer in demand in the modern game? Should they take up a more central role, as De Bruyne did, to adapt to the current tactics? I actually made a video on this, and I'm going to leave it about here in a poll, in like a clickable link, where you guys can look at it, because I go into it a lot more detail. It's quite a while ago, but I think it still holds true. Basically, Ozil is moving in such a way that the game is almost leaving him behind because he hasn't adapted, like he says, like De Bruyne has. Ozil needs to adapt to bring his game something new, because there are so many midfielders. We spoke about last week's Q&A actually with Nico. There are so many midfielders these days who are doing so much more, who can do more, and footballers are brilliant all over the pitch. And this is something that Ozil and Isco are saying, I'm just good in this one particular thing, isn't really helping them. If there's a team that plays like that, fine, that's great. But if there's a team that isn't, it's just not going to work. If Arsenal want ball carriers from the midfield who can run 40, 50 yards with the ball, with strength, with pace, with aggression, then give it to quicker, exciting forwards like Aubameyang and Pepe, Ozil's just going to be stood around. He's not particularly quick or athletic. And unless he's feeding the ball from deep, which he's not going to do because he's not a deep-lying playmaker, not really going to work. Kevin De Bruyne has learned how to do that. And yeah, I think they might need to change ever so slightly, unless they're going to accept being the bigger fish in a small pond where everything goes through them. And lastly but not least, I don't want to say it's a stupid opinion, because everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just think someone like said, it's a crime. This is what makes it so strong. It's a crime that Wan-Bissaka isn't in the England squad instead of Trent Alexander-Arnold. There was another stupid one from who just sounds like a really bitter Manchester United fan. It's not a crime that Wan-Bissaka is not in the squad ahead of Trent. Wan-Bissaka has been injured a lot recently. He's come back in the last few games and done very well. In terms of a development, he's just not near Trent at the moment. Alexander-Arnold's got 2 back-to-back Champions League finals and a Champions League winners medal under his belt at the age of 20. Wan-Bissaka's got 1 season with Crystal Palace. No offence to Crystal Palace. There's a reason why Trent's in ahead of Wan-Bissaka. He's a good player. Wan-Bissaka is a phenomenal defender. Unbelievable defender. But in terms of what Southgate wants for England, Trent is the better choice, and that's why he's in the squad instead. Personally, I would take both of them to the Euros next summer, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, keep your opinions coming in every single Sunday night on our community post on YouTube, because then we can discuss them on TFW on a Monday. That's all from me, though. Thank you so much for leaving your posts and for watching as well. Make sure you smash the like button down below, and you can check out everything else that we've got going on Onefootball all around here somewhere. Until next time, though, I'll see you guys later.